The economic perspective is viewing the world from an economist's point of view. This involves a 7-step process that allows both individuals and economies as a whole to make accurate and well thought out decisions. I compete in eventing, an English horseback riding sport. Since this is something I am passionate about and tend to revolve my life around, I decided to base all 7 guidepost examples around a central equestrian theme. The first guidepost says that there is no such thing as a free lunch. This means that every decision involves a sacrifice or a cost, and that all decisions involve trade-offs. My example of this is the decision to start taking riding lessons. Riding a horse is no easy task and requires professional instruction, especially if someone has the ambition to be competitive in the sport. While lessons and clinics will allow you to become an effective, well-versed rider and horseman, it also comes with the cost of money, time, and energy. The second guidepost is purposeful behavior. This means that individuals make decisions on purpose. That is, we make decisions to maximize our satisfaction. My example of this was the decision to keep riding. I caught the horse bug, as we call it, early on, when I was 6 or 7. My parents bought me lessons and eventually a pony. But it wasn't just a phase, as I'm sure they had hoped. This is a picture of me competing at national championships last summer. 11 years after I caught that bug, I am still riding and competing multiple horses. I stuck with it because I love it and there's nothing I would rather do. The third guidepost says that incentives matter. Incentives motivate us to do something and are the answer to why does it make me happy. My example of this is spending months training to go to a single competition. There are 2 feelings that no equestrian is stranger to. The feeling of a victory gallop after putting in a perfect winning ride, and the feeling of making one wrong move that inadvertently obliterates their chances of placing well or moving on to the next phase of competition. In order to increase their chances of obtaining that first feeling and minimizing the risk of the latter, they spend months preparing both themselves and their horses before competition season. The fourth guidepost is about marginal thinking. This is comparing costs and benefits to determine the next step to be taken and is only useful before a decision is made. My example of this is an all-you-can-eat buffet at a competitor's party. The hosting facilities of many big competitions put on a competitor's party on the first night of competition. There are usually 2 options competitors can pay for: a single predetermined meal, the cheaper option, or access to the all-you-can-eat buffet, which is a little pricier. Although you will save a few bucks buying the single meal, competitor party buffet food is certainly something to be reckoned with, and is therefore usually the more popular choice. The fifth guidepost is about unintended consequences. These are outcomes which were not intended by purposeful behavior or actions. My example of this is horse slaughter. This has been a hot topic of debate in the equine community for years. Animal rights activists believe they are doing the horses a favor. However, the animals that are being sent to slaughter are often inbred or are in situations where their owners are unable to care for them properly. While the decision to ban slaughter is well intended, it would leave many of the animals in inhumane and poor conditions, a quality of life that is almost not worth living. The sixth guidepost says that economic thinking is scientific. This means that numbers, data, statistics, and studies should be used when available to make the best decision possible. My example of this is the amount of fly spray sold in the Midwest in winter versus summer. It's no secret that the Midwest weather is less than temperate. From blistering heat in the summer to sub-zero temperatures in the winter, horse owners have to take special precautions as the weather changes with each season. In the summer, flies swarm around pastures and barns, irritating horses and sometimes leaving them with sores. Thus, owners invest in fly spray to control the amount of flies around their herds. However, the flies die off in the winter and there is no need for fly spray. Thus, the amount of fly spray sold in the summer versus in the winter fluctuates, and this must be taken into account by farm supply stores when deciding which inventory to stock up on. The seventh and final guidepost says that value is subjective. This means that, given the exact same information, not everyone will make the same decision. My example of this is whether or not to purchase a horse imported from Europe if given the opportunity. No matter which discipline of equestrian competition someone is competing in, They are always making a team effort. That is, they do their part and their horse does its part. If the horse is physically or mentally unable to compete at a certain level, the pair simply can't. It takes a lot of training and time to get a horse ready to compete at the upper levels. To save time, some people opt to purchase upper-level horses trained from Europe, as they typically have better bloodlines and are farther along in their training than the ones on the market in America. Everyone is given this opportunity, as there are always numerous imported horses for sale. However, that is quite expensive. Those who aren't willing to pay the extra money for an imported horse choose to stick with their homebred horses and spend the time training them themselves. This is a picture of a girl I am both friends and competitors with. Her horse was imported. I was presented with the same opportunity to purchase an imported horse around the same time she was, but I chose not to. Instead, I spent extra time and energy on a horse I got for free and ended up getting very similar results. Overall, the 7-step process is very helpful in making well-thought-out decisions and is applicable to almost every aspect of life.